A total solar eclipse in the U.S. is coming soon. That's our Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from NASA is mission scientist for Punch, Nicholeen Viall. Hi, Nicholeen.
Hello.
We're going to learn more about Punch maybe a little bit later. You're a research astrophysicist at the Goddard Space Flight Center, focused on the sun. Give us an overview of what's going to be happening a month from now.
Yeah, so on April 8th, there's going to be a total solar eclipse. So the 48 contiguous United States will get to see a partial eclipse. This is where the moon comes between us here on the Earth and the sun. So it blocks out the sunlight. If you're in the path of totality, then it will block out the whole main body of the sun. And you'll get to see the corona peeking out around the moon. So the corona is the atmosphere of the sun.
For people who aren't in that direct path, what will we be seeing?
Yeah, so if you're not in the path of totality, everybody in the 48 contiguous United States will still get to see a partial eclipse. That's where the moon will partially come between us and the sun, and so it'll block out part of the sun.
Is this eclipse different from the one in 2017?
Yeah, there are a few things different from the total solar eclipse that happened in 2017. The first is that the path of totality is going over more people. So more people live in the path of totality. That means more people can just step out their front door to see this total phase of the eclipse. The second thing is that the totality itself lasts longer than it did in 2017, about twice as long, about over 4 minutes if you're right in the center of that path. The third thing is that the corona is going to be more complex, and we might even get a chance to see a magnetic explosion because the sun is more active right now magnetically than it was in 2017.
Why is this going to be longer?
So the orbit of the moon is not a perfect circle around the Earth. And so its inclination and how close exactly it is to us and the between us and the sun determines how long the path is, where it is, and how long the shadow lasts.
And the safest ways to view, I mean, there are always words of caution, but tell us what we should all know.
Yeah, so it's never safe to look directly at the sun, but there are several safe ways to view the eclipse. The first is if you have solar viewers, or eclipse glasses, they're sometimes called. These have special filters on the front that make it safe to view directly the sun. And so you can view all of the partial phases of the eclipse with these on. If you're in the path of totality, then for those few minutes when the moon has totally blocked out the main body of the sun, then it's safe to look directly at it because all you're seeing is the corona, the wispy atmosphere of the sun peeking out from around the moon. The other thing you can do is you can indirectly view the eclipse. So for example, with the NASA Punch mission, we have these pinhole projectors. So there's a pinhole in the middle here. If you have the sun at your back and project the light through the pinhole, then the image of the partial eclipse will be projected down on the ground, and you can watch the crescent shape as the moon crosses between us and the sun, projected down on the ground.
Yeah, most of us will try to observe and be saying things like, wow. What will you and other scientists be looking for and saying during the eclipse?
We will also be saying wow, because we are so excited for this. I study the corona, so I am so excited to get to see the corona with my own eyes. When the moon blocks out the sun and we get to see the corona, we get to see all the complexity. We get to see these magnetic structures and the magnetic explosions. The corona is one of the things NASA studies, but the other thing we study is how the sun affects Earth. And so we're going to be studying the impact on the atmosphere as the light goes away because of the eclipse.
And the sun, as you mentioned, has been throwing out bursts of radiation last couple of weeks or so. Does that mean it's becoming more active, and maybe so during the eclipse?
Yeah, so the sun has natural cycles. There's an approximately 11-year cycle of solar activity. So when it's in solar minimum, there's less magnetic activity, fewer magnetic explosions. Right now we're in solar maximum, which means there's more of these magnetic explosions, sometimes called solar flares, and we call them also coronal mass ejections. These are important because they can affect our technology, and they can affect astronauts, and they can also affect our satellites.
Now, we mentioned that you're involved with Punch, and it's not NASA's boxing program. Tell us what it is.
Punch is a mission to study the sun and to study the sun's corona, this atmosphere of the sun. It's the same thing that we're going to get to see during the eclipse. But of course, eclipses are so rare. So Punch is going to look at that corona of the sun all the time. Look at those coronal mass ejections as they come out into the solar system and watch them evolve as they're headed towards the Earth.
And you'll have some new satellites launching next year, is it?
Punch launches nominally next year.
Very exciting. Well, today is International Women's Day. Tell us how women have been a part of the solar studies and the work at NASA.
Yeah, so women have always been a part of science. At NASA, we are so proud to have so many women leading and involved in our solar missions and our heliophysics missions, helping to build instruments, helping to lead the science. So it's just a great time to be at NASA.
For more on the upcoming eclipse and all the information we've been talking about, where's the best place for people to go?
So if you want more information, go.nasa.gov/eclipse 2024 has all sorts of information on how you can get involved and learn more about the eclipse.
The site again, go.nasa.gov/eclipse 2024. Nicholeen Viall, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you.